Welcome to Alfred Street's worship experience. Now, here are the upcoming announcements for this week.
We know that these are difficult and challenging times. We invite you to stay connected by participating in our online worship services and remain faithful in your giving online via our Alfred Street website, ASBC app, and on our text messaging system. If you have any questions about giving, please feel free to email our finance department at finance@alfredstreet.org. If you're interested in becoming a member of the historic Alfred Street Baptist Church, please email deacons with an S at alfredstreet.org or complete the membership form on our website or on our ASBC app.
Versus, a Bible-based game show presented by Alfred Street Baptist Church, is back. That's right, we invite everyone to tune in on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So be sure to tune in to our YouTube channel or Facebook Live page to cheer on your favorite team. You don't want to miss this exciting and one-of-a-kind Bible-based game show. Visit alfredstreet.org for more info about Versus, including how you can root for your favorite teams. Registration is now open for the Alfred Street Baptist Church Sports Ministries 24th Annual Eric M. Willis Memorial Golf Tournament, happening on Monday, September 26th at the Springfield Golf Country Club, located at 8301 Old Keene Mill Road in Springfield, Virginia. Early bird rates are now available and will end on July 30th. All proceeds will help pay school tuition for physically challenged and low-income students. Prizes will be awarded to the winner or winners of the putting contest, longest drive, closest to the hole, and male and female and senior flights. Cost includes golf, breakfast, and lunch. Visit our website and register online today.
Attention Alfred Street members only. It's time to be prayerful about how God is calling you to use your gifts here at Alfred Street. The call for nominations will open at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Time on September 1st through September 30th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Stay tuned for a variety of communications and be sure to check out the nominating committee's new webpage on our website and on the ASBC app for all of the upcoming open positions, descriptions, and responsibilities. Alfred Street family and friends, we're so excited to announce starting Sunday, August 7th at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, Alfred Street's in-person worship experience will be open to everyone. No registration will be required. That's right, everyone ages 5 and up will be able to worship in person at Alfred Street Baptist Church in our sanctuary starting Sunday, August 7th, with service commencing at 10 a.m. Eastern Time and doors opening at 9 a.m. Everyone must enter the building via the main doors on the portico facing the Alfred Street side of the street. But most importantly, everyone must be vaccinated in order to enter the building to worship. Upon arrival, you will be required to present your physical vaccination card and/or a copy of your vaccination card on your mobile device to our staff prior to entering the building. No exceptions. All additional Alfred Street COVID protocols will be in place, including temperature checks and the utilization of our hand sanitizer stations. Please note, and this is very important, if you have submitted or uploaded your vaccination card previously to our 42 chat or SPLAN system, you will be required to present your vaccination card in person in order to enter the sanctuary. Attendance will be limited to 500 people. There will only be one Alfred Street Baptist Church in-person worship service every weekend on Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, with doors opening at 9 a.m. Be sure to visit our website and/or ASBC app for additional details or information regarding our in-person worship experience.
Family, I am unashamedly proud to share with you our book of the month, Game, by a personal friend of mine, Grant Hill. You know the name Grant Hill. It's synonymous with basketball excellence, being highly recruited right here out of Virginia, Duke University, 3 championship appearances, the NBA, the Hall of Fame, NBA ownership. He now announces games for the Final Four. He's married to Tamia, but behind all that success, there's also some personal pain and struggle. The Game is more than just an autobiographical journey. It's also a testament of wisdom and faith that I believe will be a blessing to each and every one of us. So do me a favor, go on out and get game and see if you got some game.
Our Office of Christian Care and Counseling would like to share that July is BPOC, Black, Indigenous, People of Color Mental Health Month. The goal of BPOC Mental Health Awareness Month is to raise awareness to the challenges that BPOC populations face with regards to mental health illnesses and treatment. Several challenges include stigma, religious barriers, access, and fair and equitable care for those in marginalized communities. Another goal is to shed light on the resources available and to instill hope that mental health illnesses and challenges can be managed to optimize living. One challenge to overcome is the stigma associated with mental health and seeking treatment. Another is the barrier to access and seeking treatment from a clinician that represents their demographic. Visit our website, alfredstreet.org, for additional tips and resources about how to maintain your mental health.
Our Alfred Street Foundation, in conjunction with our HBC committee and the Alfred Street Baptist Church, invites all high school sophomores, rising juniors, and rising seniors and their parents and grandparents to save the date of our 2022 HBCU Festival. It's being held on October 7th and 8th.
This year's HBCU Festival will be held at the University of the District of Columbia. That's right, this year we will be on the campus of UDC, located at 4200 Connecticut Avenue Northwest in Washington, D.C. So be sure to visit our website for more information. Families, while our children and youth worship experience will be on our annual summer hiatus, we invite everyone to check out all of the opportunities Alfred Street has to offer for your child and children to stay connected, involved, and growing in God's Word. Our Higher Ground youth are leading the way with a drive to bless their peers in the DMV through the Hustlers Guild. Our teens need your help. If you are a youth and you would like to help lead this effort, or you would like to give, please email higherground@alfredstreet.org.
Hey Alfred Street family and friends, are you interested in purchasing any of our current or previous Alfred Street swag, t-shirts, and masks? If so, please visit our website to purchase yours today. Hey Alfred Street, Versus is back in stock. Our Versus team has been working around the clock to create another batch of our popular Versus Bible-based trivia card game, and they're now available for purchase. That's right, purchase your set of Versus cards today before we sell out again. Visit our website or ASBC app and be the first to get your hands on Versus, a Bible-based trivia game by Alfred Street Baptist Church.
Hey Alfred Street family and friends, are you visiting us for the very first time? Or perhaps you're new to Alfred Street and you want to stay connected to us or receive the latest Alfred Street updates via text. If so, all visitors, text the word visitors with an S to our new direct text number, 571-977-4525. That's 571-977-4525. Or if you're not a new visitor, but you want to receive the latest Alfred Street updates via text, please text the words ASBC News. That's ASBC News, no space between ASBC and News, to that same direct number, 571-977-4525. Again, text ASBC News to 571-977-4525, and you'll receive the latest Alfred Street updates about upcoming events and activities. Please note that data rates may apply, so please check with your phone carriers. We thank you in advance for worshiping with us virtually.
Hey Alfred Street, speaking of new things, our intercessory prayer ministry is introducing an ASBC prayer wall for 2022. It's praying time, so this ASBC prayer wall will be accessible 24 hours a day online. Visit our website and or ASBC app for more info. You can also email prayer@alfredstreet.org for additional information.
We invite everyone to continue to join your Alfred Street ministers and family Monday through Friday for our popular 7 a.m. Eastern Time prayer call. Join us in prayer and praise Monday through Friday only by dialing 425-436-6277, access code 246114 #. Again, that's 425-436-6277, access code 246114 #. Our new prayer line number will accommodate up to 2,000 participants. However, once we reach capacity, we will continue to offer the playback option. Call our playback number anytime after 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time each day, Monday through Friday, and you'll be able to replay the prayer call that you missed. To reach the playback line, please dial 425-436-6278 and enter the access code 246114 #. Please note that this is not a toll-free number, and therefore, depending on your phone carrier, rates may apply.
Alfred Street's Men's Ministry invites all men to join us virtually for weekly Men's Sunday School. Email men@alfredstreet.org to receive the Zoom virtual classroom information. Also, we invite you to tune in to our Faith Forward weekly radio broadcast featuring Pastor Howard John Wesley every Sunday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Magic 102.3 FM and 92.7 FM for a powerful sermon that will move you forward in your faith.
For more information on these and all the exciting events taking place here at Alfred Street, please log on to alfredstreet.org.
Welcome to this evening's episode of Mental Health and the Sacred Sanctuary. I'm Reverend Dr. Latasha Morgan, and in just a moment, I'll introduce my special guest for the evening. Remembering that we are the sacred sanctuary, we individually as the believers of Christ and God, and we aim to provide and create a sacred space of healing and wellness centered where God dwells. So again, welcome and thank you for joining. We're excited this month because we are celebrating for the month of July BIPOC Mental Health Awareness Month, which was formerly known as Minority Mental Health Awareness Month, BIPOC standing for Black, Indigenous, and People of Color Mental Health Awareness Month. And on this evening, my special guest is Miss Cynthia Jones, who is the founder and owner of Emotional Upgrade. I love that name, which is also known as Inner Peace and Clarity Psychotherapy Services located in Maryland. She's our special guest. She is going to help us navigate this conversation, talking about exploring culturally competent care, particularly in the African American community. And so we hope that you are engaged with our conversation, that you will walk away with tools to help you in your search of care, not just therapy care or therapeutic care, but the overall care of your whole self. I'll give you a little bit about her, and then we're going to jump right in. I don't want to read her whole bio. I'm very familiar with her and her amazing work. But she recently transitioned the name and added Emotional Upgrade to her business. That was a big move, big, bold move.
But it was an exciting
move.
Those two words just seem to really speak to what I think people are trying to do. Understand what's happening in their emotions, understand what they are, and to also improve how they are feeling and improve what they are experiencing in general.
I love in your information packet how it highlights that at any moment you can find her encouraging someone through what she calls emotional stretch marks. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I have a pretty long history in the substance abuse population. And in those groups, there was a lot of growing that didn't always feel good for people. And so emotional stretch marks was just kind of a nickname that I would give people to help them understand that what they're experiencing, although it's uncomfortable, it's okay. And it's part of your recovery. It's part of understanding who you are, who you were, and deciding who you want to be. Yeah. So stretch marks, I thought about growing, the physicality of growing. Yes. And why can't we just use that word for the emotional aspect of it?
I love it. I love it. Miss Cynthia is a licensed professional therapist in the state of Washington, D.C. and Maryland. She has a diverse background and specialty, and so we'll share her information at the end of our episode. Should you like to contact her to find out more about her services and availability. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started. And again, we're going to talk about exploring culturally competent care. And this topic, again, comes up because July, we're taking the time to pause and bring awareness to BIPOC mental health. And so, again, formerly known as minority mental health. I never liked that. I knew that it was important. I knew that it was important for us to kind of pull away and have a moment where we could focus, or an awareness, a month where we could focus on just taking pause to have care for ourselves. I never really could connect with the word minority. This is just my personal expression, because it always says to me less than, that perhaps the minority wasn't important, that I wasn't included fully or completely. So I was excited, and I introduced this concept to Alfred Street as I began my work to to embrace possibly, change a mindset, begin to look through a different lens as we were talking, to use BIPOC to include or begin to having some inclusivity. Did you have any, did it resonate with you any particular way or?
Well, I don't think I had a strong reaction. I understood the term minority. For me, it allowed focus on what is often overlooked. When I think of minority, the fact that it's even named as this small section that says we're putting attention on it. So I didn't feel slighted, but I can see the perspective of you're making me smaller than what I may be.
I mean, in comparison, right, to the wider, larger population, as if there is, well, I mean, we do understand in this very racially divided country that there is a majority, or there's a considered majority. So at any rate, I love that BIPOC has been introduced. I would want to let you finish your thought. Did you have something else to add to that?
I can't remember what I was going to say, so we can just keep going.
All right. Well, why BIPOC? Let's maybe start there. Why are we even having this conversation this month about BIPOC? When I took some time just to kind of do some research, the American Counseling Association had this tagline that said, "Be color brave, not blind. Be color brave and not blind." And not blind. And in that moment, I just kind of did a round of applause for ACA for thinking about. I felt like a lot of thought went into that. Be color brave and not blind, so that we are able to more, in a better way, include everyone in the conversation, everyone in the celebration that wants to be included, but definitely not intentionally excluding. So, any?
Yeah, you got me thinking.
Okay.
Be color brave. And so
Brave.
if there is someone who is unwilling or hesitant to look at a color outside of themselves, that language really says, go outside of your section in the crayon box and engage with another color. Engage with a color you never deemed important or you never paid attention to. So, okay, all right.
Okay.
I like that
You
language.
like that?
Be color brave.
Yeah, language is important
Yeah,
to
language
clinicians.
is very important. Very important.
Yeah, and so that really is kind of the push for the change in name from mental health, minority mental health awareness to this, that the language was important, that the language would be more representative and inclusive.
Well, I think it also speaks to making sure that people know that they can be more assertive with their color. I think you and I were in a training together where we witnessed the discomfort of other colors. And we saw collectively how that discomfort quieted our own comfort. And so when I think on be color brave, that is reminding me to be brave in my darkness and not be as concerned about someone else's comfort. It's their responsibility to own their comfort.
Yeah.
And it's their responsibility to make themselves responsibly uncomfortable too. So, I'm sorry. Good job. We can talk about that by itself. that is good language.
That is great
Yeah.
language. It's great language. It's respectful language. It's honoring language. There is an author that wrote an article, Chelsea Candelario, and she said, and I'm quoting her, she says that a big part or a big goal of BIPOC and the initiative is to undo Native invisibility, anti-Blackness, and dismantle white supremacy and advance racial justice. So I'm going to stop for a second and I'm going to give a disclaimer. Some of this conversation may be triggering and I need for you to do what you do best to take care of yourselves. But I'll add to that it's a necessary conversation for such a time as this, for the time that we're living in, for the community, and for the culture that we are a part of, right? So if you have to take a pause, do what you need to do to take care of yourself and come back. All right? Join us.
Get a blanket, get something to drink.
Yeah.
So you can take care of all of your
That's right.
parts.
Your favorite beverage, whatever your choice is, so that you can take care of all of your parts, your whole self.
Those
all right?
words are strong.
That was strong?
Yeah, those words are strong. I like it. I like it.
Yeah. Undo Native invisibility, anti-Blackness, and dismantle white supremacy and advance racial justice.
Yeah.
Gosh, how long ago was We Are the World? Do you remember that?
I do.
It just kind of popped in my mind just in this moment how we linked arms. I remember like elementary school, we took pause, went outside, linked up, and it was something that was happening all across the world, right, for unity and justice and inclusivity, and how far removed, unfortunately, we are in this day and time from We Are the World. Gosh.
Yeah. I was a kid. I was in elementary school. And I remember first just being excited about the song and the people in it.
Of course.
But it wasn't until I think the teacher really broke down, look at the different colors, look at the different genres of music, and how they came together to unify us. It took me a while to get it as a kid, but even thinking back on it now, it's a beautiful thing that they even came together to do that. It would be great if we can do that today.
It would be.
Hopefully it's in the works.
We'll put it in the atmosphere, right? Because it promoted inclusion. It was like a beautiful quilt that somebody's grandmother pieced little pieces from here and there and collectively made something so beautiful that spanned across the world. Go ahead.
No.
Okay. I would add now, that it probably, not just that thought, but at least the effort for BIPOC Mental Health Awareness Month is to unite marginalized communities, right? To bring awareness. We were talking pre-production about the importance of self, right? And the importance of knowing self. And so if we think about that, uniting, if we first start with ourselves, like collecting ourselves, who are we? Who am I? Making it more personal. Who am I? How do I show up? What am I aware of about myself as it relates to culture and community and connection? That's an important piece if we're going to change. Like if we're going to revitalize We Are the World or any other movement, that's an important aspect. Understanding self, who we are.
And can we take a moment to just define what we mean by self?
Sure.
Self-meaning or self-being, that core part of you that does not have an agenda. It does not want less for someone or more for someone, but it really just wants overall unity and peace. It's not trying to do it in a manipulative way or through a trauma lens, but really a centered, without agenda, I want unity part of you. It's kind of like the conductor in an orchestra.
That's a good example.
Yeah.
That's a good example. I like to add that it is the uncontaminated part.
Yes. I like that word.
It's the uncontaminated part of us, like deep within, and I add this because I am a person of faith, regardless of titles. I'm a person of faith, and I believe that it's that uncontaminated part of God that lives and exists within us that could, just like you made that analogy, help orchestrate, help guide outside of trauma, right? Outside of experiences. And when we get to know that part of ourselves and connect with it, it helps us to show up in this world, regardless of its state. But it helps us to show up in a way that first we can do the work inside out, right? We can then be an advocate for self and things around us, others around us, and be able to operate in a way that ultimately honors who we are and who we are culturally, who we are as God sees us, et cetera, et cetera.
And the orchestra, just to give some clarity, the orchestra that you're conducting is not an external thing.
Yeah, that's
you're,
good.
You're conducting your emotions, right? That part of you that gets nervous when you hear someone yell, or that part of you that gets angry when you feel that you're being disrespected, or that part of you, that little girl that feels lonely or feels like that she didn't get enough attention. So you're not orchestrating, you're not conducting your neighbor or the cameraman or your boyfriend or your partner.
Right.
You are conducting your own emotions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's important when we're talking about being able to take care of ourselves as an individual and to take care of ourselves culturally. We were talking about, like, what's a good definition for culture? How would we define that, right? It kind of takes it takes different shapes, right? It morphs into something that probably changes quite often, but
Absolutely.
At the root, your collective experiences, the things that you do that are almost innate to who you are. Some things we do, nobody taught us. Nobody taught us how to do. We just do it. When the music comes on, nobody said, Tasha, shake your shoulders.
It just happens.
It just happens. It's just some kind of rhythm in me. Perhaps I've seen someone in my family do it. I remember dancing with my dad as a little girl in the living room to old Manhattan songs. Right? And so maybe, he learned it from his dad. I don't know how it happened, but it was a part of my culture. So we're talking about experiences, lived, shared, passed down, epigenetics, right? All of the things. You want to add to that?
I would only add ideal experiences.
Ideal experiences.
We were talking earlier about expectations, right? So when I think of culture, I think about what is actually happening and what we want to happen. So if we take it back to the church, we want, in some church environments, we want you to come in pristine and clean. That is the expectation. Now, you may not have pristine and clean in your closet, but that is the expectation. And so expectations are indeed still a part of culture.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a lot of things connected and tied to that. But as a culture, our call for this month is to call you to a place where you take the time and begin to explore self from a holistic point of view. This month is calling us into a place and reminding us that healing is available. Healing is possible. And I know I know we're going to get the calls and the emails. I can't find a good therapist, right? I can't find a good therapist, and I can't find a therapist that looks like me. So what do I do about that? How am I supposed to take care of myself, Reverend Morgan, if I can't find someone to work with? I don't want to work with a therapist that looks different from me. I don't want to work with someone who doesn't understand who I am, right? That's a big problem in our community because we're just kind of getting to the place where we are embracing therapy as healthcare, right?
And we are just, as a community, getting used to the idea of telling our business. We are,
That's a cultural thing,
yes,
right?
It's a cultural thing. Many households, you do not talk about what is happening
That's
in
right.
this house. You keep this business in the household.
Right.
And so the idea of therapy, many people think you just talk. Why would I tell you what's happening in my house when your house probably isn't in order? I hear it all the
That
time
part.
from friends and friends and friends.
That
Why would I
part.
do that?
Yeah.
And so, there are a lot of real barriers and a lot of assumed barriers to getting healing.
Yeah. A lot of work has been done, and I'm happy. I'm happy, glad about this particular profession, and I'm even happier that I am able to bring an intersection with mental health and faith in this space. There's been a lot of work, though, in our profession to help remove the stigma and barriers related to mental health especially in our community, right? And so as we are continuing the work, advocating for that and advancing in getting therapy and making therapy affordable, available, etc., it's still that there's still this undercurrent conversation that, one, I can't find somebody good, and I can't find someone that looks like me.
Also, I can't afford it.
I can't afford it, right? And so we've got a number of things happening under marginalized communities, already struggling under the poverty line. And then we have the mindset, right? And so it feels like a lot of challenges when it comes to managing our care, but we want to encourage you to consider beginning the journey if you're not already there. There are people that are committed to the care. There are people that have studied and really made a concerted effort, right, to begin being culturally competent, right? And just because you are of a particular color doesn't mean that you're necessarily culturally competent.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So we can't even stop there and say, oh, I need someone that looks like me. I need a therapist that looks like me. There's a larger conversation at hand.
They may not be your kind of black. They may not be your kind of
Say more
white,
about that. They may not be your kind of
right?
black.
We hear things like they've lost their black card because they don't eat watermelon, whatever that is. And I mean, that's a lighthearted joke, but there are different cultures within the culture.
That's right.
That was the part of our
Subcultures,
pre-conversation. So there's the black culture, there's the Bowie culture, there's the Southeast culture, right? There's all these different
religious culture.
The religious culture, the male-female culture, the trans culture. Just
so
we can go on
subsets.
and on and on. And so I really encourage people, if I'm looking for a therapist that looks like me, is something that you are contemplating, I really encourage you to expand that. And I'll share my story. Okay. I have a white therapist. I am a therapist that has a therapist. Yay. It's a thing. That's a great thing, right?
Every therapist should have one.
Or at least visit one periodically, right?
We did learn that.
I have had several therapists within my professional career, and some were great and some were not so great. But this particular time, I was looking for a specific type of therapist. Okay. I am an internal family systems practitioner. I wanted a therapist that also did that. I wanted someone that took my insurance, that was female, that was black, that was in my area, that did virtual treatment.
You did your work, huh?
5 different elements on my criteria, and I couldn't find her.
Wow.
There were therapists that had long waiting lists. There were therapists that did not take insurance. My account wasn't set up where I can afford out-of-pocket services. And finally, I decided, okay, girl, you need healing. And let's go get it. And let's see what we can take off of this criteria list. And so I settled for a therapist that did virtual IFS. I figured out how to afford it, and she's a white woman. And I made a point of bringing all of my blackity black to the session.
I love that.
So language, all of the things that are important to me, I just kind of threw it at her really in an assertive way because I wanted to see if she can handle it.
Okay.
And that relationship has been good for me, that therapeutic relationship. It was very intentional because I needed to test her. I needed to see if she can handle my language. I needed to see if she can handle my truth, right? Would she laugh at my truth and think I should write a book, right? Things like that happen. Could she handle my lifestyle? Would I feel judged by her? I had lots of questions. Okay. And so I just threw all of this truth at her, I think our first session, and there was some correcting, of course, that happened, meaning we were working with some of my parts, meaning some of my emotions. And she wanted me to use a particular language with my parts. And I just gently said, that word doesn't really feel right. And she did a great job of saying, what word would feel better? Instead of, well, tell me why, right? Tell me why. Well, that's the word that she didn't force it. She wasn't combative. She said, what word feels better? I didn't just say a word quickly. I took some time and thought about it. And I gave her my word, and we've been using it ever since. So there was a nice course correction. I needed her to be human and do that. It didn't matter what her color was.
Yeah.
I just needed her to be human.
Yeah.
And I needed someone to facilitate healing for me. And I didn't want to wait 6 months until I found a Black therapist to do that.
Wow. Wow.
Now that's who I have now. Maybe it'll be a Black therapist next year, but that's who I have now, and that's who's helping me facilitate healing.
Yeah. So it sounds like if we were going to give people guiding points in a sense, right, as they explore, I love how you use the word expand your expectation.
Yes.
Right? You may have a small list of what you would like to have. You might have a great wish list, and that's a good place to start.
Good place to start.
But as you move through the journey, you might have to expand that so that you ultimately come back to what the primary goal is, and that's healing.
You may have to make some adjustments.
Yeah, you might have to make some adjustments. I then heard you say that it's important for you to kind of understand, and I know the work of therapy is to help you kind of reorient in a sense, right? And make some changes once you do your goal setting. But I heard you say in a sense that you got to kind of know what you're working with. You got to know what you're bringing to the table, and you've got to have some kind of understanding of self and what you like and what you don't like.
At least an idea. You're not going to always know what your issues are. I have people coming to me all the time with, I want to work on my relationship. I don't like the way I communicate with my husband. And then we create a treatment plan according to
What you
the
tell-
intended target.
Right.
Right? 3 months later, we've now expanded that treatment plan or moved it around a bit because you've recognized while communication is an issue, there's also trauma in your history. There's also distrust.
Yeah.
Distrust in you, right?
Yeah.
There's always something behind the screen.
That's right.
Always something.
That's right. I mean, because lives are complicated.
We are complicated things.
Yeah, we're like really big jigsaw puzzles. I don't really like jigsaw puzzles, but that's the first image that came to my mind, which is probably why I'm sharing it. Like a really big jigsaw puzzle. And sometimes those puzzle pieces get lost. Sometimes they are forever missing because they've wound up in a vacuum. Like life throws us so many curves. And we are constantly trying to adjust.
I like that analogy. I know you said you don't like jigsaw puzzles, but I like that analogy because in jigsaw puzzles, how many times I've done it as a kid, trying to force the piece into, it doesn't, let me bang on it, right? Let me scratch on it to get it to fit. We try to make things fit and it doesn't.
And it doesn't. And that causes trauma because if we stay with the jigsaw puzzle, when we take it from the incorrect part, right, and really you'll notice that the edges are now a little jagged, right? They're a little traumatized, damaged as a result of this attempt to force it. And so we can't often do this work alone to kind of put the pieces together. But I will say that I love when a puzzle is done. It's beautiful.
I like it, but I want to mess it up and do it all over.
Oh, goodness. But that's how life happens, right? Somebody comes, tips the bottom, pieces are all over, and we're starting again. But it's important, we're making light of it using this example, or maybe not, I don't know. It's not our intent, at least not my intent to make light, but using something that helps us make the connection and correlation, because this month has been set aside for our care. What care do you need? What do you need to stop and pause and pay attention to? What is eating at you? That was a popular movie. I'm having a lot of references today from childhood. What's eating Gilbert Grape? Was that it? Yeah. And it may not even correlate with the movie, but the title, like what's eating at you, right? What do you find yourself in constant pattern of doing that you don't particularly like? What's causing you not to sleep at night? What's showing up in your dreams? You might be thinking about your personal relationships, personal or professional relationships. and maybe they aren't going they're not as steady as you would like them to be. What do you need to stop and pause and reflect on, and maybe even considering taking care as we are highlighting this is the month to just do it? It's been set aside. What do you need to educate yourself on?
Can I add to that? What are you assuming?
Yeah.
When was the last time you checked your assumptions about yourself and about other people? And you said, what are you dreaming? Are you dreaming enough?
That's good.
Are you dreaming enough?
Yeah.
We get stuck.
We get stuck.
Yeah.
We get stuck. And what we do know is that our community is suffering at alarming numbers with mental health conditions and illnesses, right? Our depression rates, community-wise, are up. We're talking about suicide in a way that we've never talked about before. We used to ascribe in the African American community that suicide was for a different race. We don't handle or manage things that way. But we've got our young children not just contemplating, but unfortunately committing suicide. We're in distress.
And to put this in logistical terms, I looked at a survey a couple of days ago, just from Maryland and DC alone. In 2021, mid-COVID, there were 930,000 people struggling with some form of mental illness. 930,000. That is just little old DC and Maryland.
Wow.
That's not capturing everyone. We know not
Just
everyone.
DC and Maryland.
That's just DC and Maryland. And we know there's limitations with every survey, right?
Okay, yeah.
So how did they conduct the information? We know that there's somebody in their living room who they did not capture.
That's right.
In that number.
That's right. And so there's likely a caveat that says of those that reported.
Of those that reported.
Right.
The reported population.
Yeah.
That's not including the people who live next door to you, the people who are in your home. It may not even include you who reported the struggle with mental issues.
Wow. That's a great point. And when we look at the BIPOC community, and I'm gonna just quickly add, this is gonna be a rough number, but if you want some great statistical information, you have a reference. Is it NAMI? Is your
NAMI, but
so the National Alliance of what is it? National
Alliance of Mental
Illness. All the letters begin to just come together. And then Mental Health America has they have a current survey, 2022, the state of mental health in America. So those are two great resources that you can reference should you want to have more statistical information. But when we start looking at Black, Indigenous, and so those are persons that were formerly called Native Americans. So Black, Indigenous, and people of color, we're talking about, in comparison to white Americans, those classified as white Americans, we're talking about that group being 22% of the population struggling with mental illness, and everything else includes BIPOC.
Say that again.
So we've got 22% of reported numbers, right? That 22% of the American population, of that 22% represents white Americans that are dealing with some sort of mental illness.
Got it.
The rest of the pie makes up the BIPOC community. That's a large, that's almost 80%.
Yeah.
That's a large percent. And of that, almost 20% is Black Americans. Again, of those reported. Right? So we're not talking, this is a very large issue. And mental health and mental unwellness, it impacts so many areas of our lives. It impacts the impression that others have of us as a community, bringing it back culturally. When we are not well, when we aren't seeking sufficient care. this idea, this understanding, the actuality of mental health, it is something that as a community, as a culture, that we have to no longer be afraid of, but begin to move in a way where we are able to get the help that we need. And we can't hinge it on just, I can't find anybody that looks like me. I hope that we wouldn't.
And we can't hinge it on, I don't want to tell anybody my business. They won't understand me. You won't know unless you give it a try.
Yeah. And we know that there are some standards that absolutely prevent or cause challenge, right? That there are systemic barriers, that there are just, inequities. We are not far removed from the society that we live in, right? We're very, very aware that those things are prevalent and very active in the space and places that we live in. However, we know that access to healthcare is a major issue still, and that things have been done to move it forward in the right direction, but it's still an issue. But there are things that, let's be honest, that culturally we're not taking advantage of. There is help available. There are resources, there are organizations, particularly related to mental health, where work is being done to be able to have clinicians of color provide services and that fee be taken care of, or a reduced scale or rate. We've got to become aware, some of those questions we just talked about, what's going on with us? And is this the way we really want to show up? And do we really feel like do we need some help? And what does that help look like?
Do we want to continue living this way?
Do we want to keep living like this?
How long can you keep this up? Is it sustainable? And then, are you willing to be a little uncomfortable to be more comfortable later on? Yeah. Are you willing to do the work?
Yeah. Sacrificing something, right, for the greater good later.
Sacrificing something for the greater good. So that may mean maneuvering your finances a little bit so that you can pay for therapy.
Oh, so I cannot get my red bottoms this month. Is that what you're saying?
Probably not this month, but that's a very real thing. Yeah. I mean, I've heard people say, well, I can't afford treatment. And I'm always curious about, well, what are you affording these days? Because when I looked at my budget and how a therapist that I was looking for in my budget that takes insurance wasn't readily available, I had to start looking at, well, how am I spending my money? Can I pull up this amount of money to pay for a session? And it doesn't have to be every week. I meet with her once a month now because that's what I can afford. So you make it work.
Yeah. And that's the thing. We make it work. We make what we want work.
Yeah.
Right? And so this initiative for this month is for us to kind of step back and say, what do I need to make work in this season? What do I need to perhaps refocus, realign, attune myself, connect myself with, so that I can become better? Because I've now become aware that somebody brought it to my attention that you're often very angry. You often show up very angry and exasperated in situations. You are often turned up. You often on 100. I'm just trying to think of some of the other things that I hear pretty frequently, right? Off the chain and off the hook and just, out of control. Like that shows up, like I don't even know who you are because I always interact with you, or most of my interactions with you is like this, right? Is that something that you've become aware of, or maybe someone brought to your attention that you really want to take the time to begin working? And it's a journey. We didn't get to these places overnight, right? And so we're not gonna, one session is not gonna fix the problem.
There is no magic pill.
Right? One session is not going to solve it all. It is going to, but it will at least get you in the room. I love how you said for your journey to therapy, how you listened to what she had to say and then said, well, wait a minute, that doesn't work for me, right? That language doesn't work for me, right? This sounds like a part of you was able to be vulnerable and speak up and not just accept this kind of care. Right? I was going to share, and this is now off of mental wellness, right? Okay. But just talking about overall care. I have a Black female doctor, and I was intentional about doing. Normally when I select my primary care, I get a guy. But this time and season in my life, I was like, I think I'm going to try a female. I found her. She looked nice. Her picture looked great. I was like, okay. I read her credentials. Everything I thought that I would present, like she talked about her specialties. I was like, this sounds like it could be a great fit. I am so dissatisfied with the level of care and service. I don't feel heard. I feel invisible. I feel like there's a pre-agenda, and I know that my appointment time is set according to my health care, right? I probably got a 15, 20-minute appointment time, and she's got to do dot, 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 dot. But I have intentionally brought into the space, well, here's some things that I'm concerned about, or this is what I'm noticing, and there's been some changes with such and such. And I have literally sat there waiting for a response, and none was given. I have been waiting for this person to celebrate almost 50-pound weight loss. Instead, I was told, yeah, you got to lose 50 more if you think you're ever going to get off of the medication. So I'm bringing this up and I'm sharing this experience because I walked away now realizing that I am going to have to get another provider, or I'm going to continue to not get the care and service that I'm seeking.
Well, here's the other option. You can also go in there and say, I worked hard to lose 50 pounds. And the last time I was here, I felt like you didn't recognize that. And just let them respond.
Yeah, there's a part of me that even got nervous that you said you should use your voice.
We're not used to doing that. We're used to using our voice in the house on lunch breaks, right? At the cooler. But we're not used to using our voice really where it matters most. Yes. You can go in there and say, hey, the last time I was here, you didn't recognize
the last 6 times.
Well, the last 6 times I was here, I felt like you didn't recognize that. That's important to me. I will think about losing the other 50 maybe, but I lost 50 pounds.
Right? Right, and my numbers are down, and like I am now, and so a lot of successes. But I thought when we have this conversation, I'm going to bring that up.
Sometimes you have to fire your providers.
Sometimes we do. But I like the fact that you brought out, perhaps you should use your voice first.
Yeah. She can't read your mind.
Yeah, she can't read my mind.
And she's probably thinking on numbers. Let me get this one in, this one in. She's thinking about the report she has to write. And we don't know what parts were activated when she's interacting with you, meaning what emotions she was experiencing when interacting with you. Yeah. So you can go in there and use your voice. Turn your microphone up. Turn your microphone up.
I know AB loves that. Turn my microphone up. Let me use my words. Let me advocate for myself. Because I am taking my care from the top of my head to the sole of my feet important. Are you taking your care important? Are you taking your care? We get one life. We get one shell, one body that has to last us however long our days are. How well are we managing that? How well are we taking? God said that I'm giving you the gift.
Yeah. How long can you keep this up?
Can you? Yeah. Oof. We can't smoke. Listen, we can't smoke it away. We can't sex it away. We can't drink it away. But we've got to learn how to change and shift that so we can start carrying it away and doing some things, making some mindset shifts and changes, some behavioral changes that will be beneficial, not just for us, but for generations behind us.
We also talked about in our pre-meeting
Yeah.
that sometimes you have to teach people how to treat you. Oh my God. So that is a big part of culture in my mind, because as a little Black girl, I'm remembering getting messages of you don't speak too loud, don't say certain things, right? Speaking up for yourself, you don't need to do that. Make yourself invisible.
Wow.
Especially being a chocolate girl. You don't want to make yourself more visible than what you already are.
So you got to wear dull colors.
So you have to wear dark colors, which, as you can see, I've changed that
I love
narrative,
it.
right?
I love it.
But you want to make yourself invisible.
Yeah.
And so
Part of the background.
Part of the background. But using your voice, we can do that within our culture. We can change that narrative.
Yeah. So if I teach using my example, and this is a real live, like I just had my appointment last week, real live example.
Yeah.
I could teach her how to treat me, and then make a sound decision on if she's the right provider.
Absolutely. Because
Right?
her response is going to tell you a lot.
Because how I am prior to this conversation, how I was planning to respond was, I don't need you. I'll take my business somewhere else. And the advertising and marketing people know exactly what happens. We quietly walk away. We tell all of our friends about it. The person or company never knows the egregious behavior or the offense, and we move on. And then they're left to do the same thing over again.
They don't know what to correct.
Yeah.
They don't know that they need correction.
Yeah. Yeah.
And give her time to respond. She may be a little shocked. Give her time to respond, gather her parts, sort it out, and allow her to begin to treat you how you want to be treated. And if she doesn't, fire her and go someplace else.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll keep you posted. I'll keep you posted. So the same thing, right? So the same idea with your holistic care. And holistic care can look so many different ways.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be the same prescription that your friend, if you can't tell, we're really good friends, right? But that your friend has. I have a whole different regimen. She has a whole different regimen. But at the end of the day, we're both getting care. We're both getting what we need. We're both addressing those issues. And I encourage you to take advantage of this month. You might not be able to get in this month, but at least start the process. Google has become our friend for so many other things. Allow it to help you begin the search. You can if you have insurance, call your insurance company. That's part of their job, to help you find and navigate and find someone in your system, in your network. You don't have to do it alone. Search for community connections and counseling centers in your area. Again, we'll share Cynthia's information, but I tell you, she's in great demand. I'll tell you that right now. She's in great demand, and she probably has a wait list. But nevertheless, right? But she may be able to offer you some referrals to people she knows work hard to give the best care that they can, right?
And you can be specific in your search. You can say Black therapist in Greenbelt, therapist for depression in Waldorf, whatever that is.
That's
you can
right.
be specific in your search and be prepared to search.
Yeah.
Right?
Create a list.
Create a list. You may have to call 5. It shouldn't be this way. Yes, our health system sucks, but this is where we are.
This is where
you
we
may
are.
have to make a couple of phone calls, and you interview. Ask for a consult. 10-minute, 15-minute consult to see how you connect. This is a therapeutic relationship you're trying to build. So connection matters. How they look, if that matters to you, it matters too.
Yeah.
But connection matters most.
That matters most.
Feeling heard,
Yes.
feeling understood,
Yes, seen.
feeling seen
Yes.
matters the most.
Yeah. You're going to receive payment
Yes.
for this service.
You're
That's
spending
part.
something. Somebody's spending money.
Yeah.
Whether it's your insurance
I'm
company
paying
or
a
not.
monthly fee for my insurance.
Yes.
Right? I am paying a copay. And you, on the other hand, provider, clinician, doctor, etc., medical provider, whatever, dentist, you are going to receive the payment that you have negotiated with said insurance company. This is not a free service, right? So, and even if it was free, it should be the best service that you can give.
You're right. It shouldn't change the quality just because the price isn't
I've
the
worked with
same.
clients pro bono, and they didn't get less of me because, they free.
They actually get a little more
They
of
get
you
more.
because the price is compassion. You're coming from a pure
Yes.
place of compassion. Yeah.
Yes, that's a very great
Yeah.
great way of putting it. I'm not showing up halfway. This is all you get today. So, So thank you. Let's advocate for ourselves. But before we get to the advocating of ourselves, let's take some time and figure out, like, what is it that we really want to connect with and change? A really good friend who's connecting with herself, took herself out on a date, recognizing, like, having a little makeup is great.
Yes.
That it's like she may not do it herself every day, all the time, but it made her feel better. And that sparked in her mind, I probably should take a little more time for myself. Right? Maybe you need a self-care regimen. Might not necessarily need a therapist, but you need some sort of care to help you manage, because life is tough.
And the other part of that is, what does your team look like? Right? So the idea of therapy may not sit well with you. Maybe it's a coach. Maybe it's a mentor.
Great point.
But just creating a team, if you look at your life and you can't think of not one person to call when you are going through something, then that says you need to check your team. Maybe expand your team, maybe change the members
Maybe
in your
build
team.
the team.
Maybe build a team.
Yeah.
Who is your tribe? I like that word better. Who is your tribe?
Who's your tribe?
Where are
your
they?
people?
Yeah, where your people at?
Yes, and we need those kind of people that can say without hesitation, sis, bruh, like, something's going on. I can't help you, but I can walk with you towards help. I'll hold your hand. I'll support you.
The other thing I want to add, since we're talking about culture, is making sure that we are genuinely wanting the best for each other. So if you have people who are cheerleaders in your tribe, and that's the scope of their role, you need to add some people to your tribe.
Yeah,
you need
wanna say more
someone
about defining cheerleader.
defining cheerleader, meaning they are telling you, oh, you look great today. Oh, you did that so well.
Everything's good.
Everything's great all the time.
Yeah.
That's not possible.
Yeah.
Right? You need someone that's going to say, hey, that skirt's a little rough. Or I just had a conversation with a friend this week, actually. She made some financial decisions and she asked me to go along with her. And I said, as soon as you do this, I want to see you do this because I'm concerned about how you're making decisions.
Yeah.
You need cheerleaders. You need someone that's going to be very honest with you and discern when you need both, right? I can be a
That's right.
cheerleader.
Yeah.
We do this for each other.
Yeah.
We could be cheerleaders and we can also be the person that says, I need you to look at that again. I think you can do better. What was the motivation behind XYZ? So you need a tribe.
She's rough too.
Yeah, I am. I'm okay with being rough.
I love it.
I'm okay
I love
with
you.
it. We need to be roughed up sometimes.
That's right. Because life is going to deal us enough, right? And I wouldn't be worth my weight as a minister in any capacity if I don't add. You need something outside of yourself, higher to believe in, higher to have principles connected to, higher to help infuse power, energy, strength, guidance. And so my preference is Christ, and being able to learn who God is to you for yourself. Being able to, and if you are a person of faith and a believer, gaining a clear understanding of how God sees you, understanding the creative intentionality that you were made in the likeness and image of God, and that you are not a second-class citizen, regardless of your color, status, class, etc., and that there is nothing you cannot attain once you understand who you are and access the help you need. We don't have to stay in the same place that we are. Sometimes we choose to because the challenges seem so difficult. or perhaps it's generational. This is what we've always done.
Or scary.
Or scary.
It's intimidating.
Or you become afraid. Yeah. There are a number of barriers that could prevent that, but they really can, with the proper help, the care, beginning to use your voice and connecting with who you are and who you want to be can help you start the journey.
I would also add to that, even if you feel like you don't have a higher power, take a look at what you think about the most.
Okay.
So in the substance abuse world, higher power can be anything you need it to be. So if it's not Christ, it could be your tribe. It could be your child. But paying attention to what you think about the most and how is that focus helping you? So if money is what you think about the most, how is that really helping you? If sex is shopping, what you think about the most, how is it really helping you? Is
that's
it serving
really good.
You? Yeah. Is it serving
right?
you?
Add to that alcohol, substance abuse.
We can keep going.
Right? Yeah. How is that really helping? And you may not have a complete answer on what will then help you, like, because you start removing these things and then you automatically want to replace it with something. But beginning a conversation with someone, even if it's someone in the village.
Yeah.
Because someone in the village might have the answer that you're looking for.
Or can direct you.
Or can support you or direct you in that way. So of course, we're clinicians, and it's important for us to share with you why it's important to have a culturally competent clinician. Part of that conversation as we get ready to wrap up, clinicians, this is a notice for you. Right? I wish I had a board. Clinicians, this is a notice for you. You got to do your work too. We should not. I just saw a recent post on Black Therapists Rock. Shout out to Darian Young. Young, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And the conversation was like, well, should you even be counseling someone if you don't have your own clinician? You're not doing your own work. Well, here's some work for you to do as we highlight and uplift BIPOC Awareness Month. You might need to do some self-work. And in our pre-conversation, you had brought really good information about internal family systems and self-work when it comes to the therapist. Any tidbit you like to just kind of add for the clinicians?
For the clinicians. I and this is based off of me pointing fingers at myself, my own growth.
Yeah.
Internal family systems has helped me understand that it doesn't mean that I'm a bad clinician if I'm feeling triggered in session. So we're human beings.
Yes.
Therapists are human beings too. And so we have feelings, we get triggered. Sometimes our clients represent us or our family members.
Yeah.
And so I have learned that when I am triggered in session, I grab a pen and I just jot down what I am feeling. Sometimes it is anger. Sometimes it is collaboration. Sometimes it is fear. Sometimes it is excitement. And then I keep kind of these stack of stickies.
Okay.
And when I'm ready to go into my own therapy session, or at the end of the day, when I am trying to unwind, I take a look and I just go through those stickies and I think about, what am I ready to address? Ooh, that's a lot. I'm not ready to address that. Maybe 2 years from now. But I take a look at me.
Yeah.
I take a look at me, and that's important because you are going to be triggered.
Absolutely.
Your therapists are not perfect. They're not robots. They are human beings.
Yeah.
And sometimes we need to remember that we're not perfect, we're not robots, and that we got some stuff to work out too.
We do. And so if you are a traditional therapist, you don't ascribe to a particular, religious connection, that's fine. And if you are, on the other hand, similar to me, so right here at this table, I mean, sure, if your client brings it into the room, you'll be able to talk, but it's not your primary focus, is what I'm saying, right? So we've got two colors of clinicians right here at this table that we're going to help you be able to do that. But we are also going to do our work.
You have to, and when you don't, it shows up. Yes, it shows up. I can recall, transparent moment, I can recall being in sessions today, what is this, June 28th? I wish I had done things differently. I wish I had done my work before interacting with this person or before going into that session, because I see how it impeded their healing. Now I can see that.
That's what we don't want to do.
That's what we don't want to do. Right? It happens. And unfortunately, it happens.
Yeah.
But I can recognize certain sessions made me go, yeah, I need to get back in therapy. I need to call somebody again, or I need to go have a mirror talk and work this out.
Yeah. Which is the whole a lot of the premise behind BIPOC, like expanding ourselves to be considerate of more things.
Considerate of people outside of our culture.
Yes, considerate of our own perspective and perhaps the perspectives of others.
And know what your perspective is.
Right? And know that it's not your job to manage others' perspective. If we talked about this in our pre-session, show up authentically, right? We'll begin to teach people how to treat us, right? We'll be able to educate through our behavior, through our action, through our self-love, through our self-care, through the work that we do, not just therapeutically, but also holistically, medically, like everything comes together. Listen, we could go on and on, but we are limited to 60 minutes. So that means you have to join us again. Ms. Cynthia Jones, thank you for being my guest today.
Thank you for having me.
So very appreciative of this conversation. Look forward to working with you more in the future. I'm going to give her a moment to share how you can reach her. And right before I do, I'm going to charge you to stay tuned, because next month we come back for the month of rest around here at Alfred Street Baptist Church with Alfred Street Baptist Church's own Marcia Leftwich, who's going to do Eat, Love, and Meditate. You're not going to want to miss these episodes for August. They're going to air on Fridays, every Friday in the month of August. And Jorge Wallace, who is our senior clinician, he's coming with Strong at the Broken Place, mental stamina, talking about mental stamina in various areas. His episodes are going to air on Wednesdays. So we have an amazing month of rest, some amazing mental wellness. Actually, we're going to call the series Mental Wellness Masterclass. And so we're going to have that coming in August. Get your pen, get your paper. You can write down this information for some resources. Ms. Jones is going to share her contact information at this time. How can people reach you?
Sure. So again, I am Cynthia Jones. I am the owner and founder of Emotional Upgrade, also known as Inner Peace and Clarity Psychotherapy Services. I would say go to the website. It has all the information there. It's www.talkwithipcp. I'll say it. Talk with TALKWITHIPCP. Literally talk with IPCP.com.
Awesome. And again, if she's not available, I'm certain her assistant will help arrange referrals.
Yeah, we'll try to get you connected to someone.
Alfred Street, you know that you can always reach out to pastoral counseling at alfredstreet.org. You can find additional information on BIPOC Mental Health Awareness Month on our website by navigating through the counseling page. You'll have access to this broadcast once it airs live. You'll be able to access it later, so you can go back and take notes, share with your friends. And if you are experiencing a mental health crisis, I'm going to give you these resources for your reference. You can dial 211 that will connect you with just like information, but it's information for mental health concerns, crisis for your particular area. They can help navigate, and also they can also help you find available clinicians if that information is available for your state. So this is across the United States, 211. NAMI is also an amazing resource. If you are struggling or dealing with suicide, you can text using your cell phone, 741-741. That's a 24/7 number. And I'll give you the national helpline for SAMHSA, which is 1-800-662-HELP. The National Suicide Helpline is also a resource that you are able to easily access from your cell phone. So listen, whatever you need, start with yourself. Ask the hard questions. Don't be afraid of the answers that come. Tap into your village. Connect with your internal peace. It's not a betrayal. So it's not a betrayal to your ancestors. It's not a betrayal to your religion, your God, what you believe in. It is actually a celebration and an honor that you will help take care of yourself along with the Creator. Whatever you do, be safe, live well, and take care. God bless you until the next time. Bye.
Welcome to Alfred Street's worship experience. Now, here are the upcoming announcements for this week.
We know that these are difficult and challenging times. We invite you to stay connected by participating in our online worship services and remain faithful in your giving online via our Alfred Street website, ASBC app, and on our text messaging system. If you have any questions about giving, please feel free to email our finance department at finance@alfredstreet.org. If you're interested in becoming a member of the historic Alfred Street Baptist Church, please email deacons with an S at alfredstreet.org or complete the membership form on our website or on our ASBC app.
Versus, a Bible-based game show presented by Alfred Street Baptist Church, is back. That's right, we invite everyone to tune in on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So be sure to tune in to our YouTube channel or Facebook Live page to cheer on your favorite team. You don't want to miss this exciting and one-of-a-kind Bible-based game show. Visit alfredstreet.org for more info about Versus, including how you can root for your favorite teams. Registration is now open for the Alfred Street Baptist Church Sports Ministries 24th Annual Eric M. Willis Memorial Golf Tournament, happening on Monday, September 26th at the Springfield Golf Country Club, located at 8301 Old Keene Mill Road in Springfield, Virginia. Early bird rates are now available and will end on July 30th. All proceeds will help pay school tuition for physically challenged and low-income students. Visit our website and register online today.
Attention Alfred Street members only. It's time to be prayerful about how God is calling you to use your gifts here at Alfred Street. The call for nominations will open at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Time on September 1st through September 30th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Stay tuned for a variety of communications and be sure to check out the nominating committee's new webpage on our website and on the ASBC app for all of the upcoming open positions, descriptions, and responsibilities. Alfred Street family and friends, we're so excited to announce starting Sunday, August 7th at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, Alfred Street's in-person worship experience will be open to everyone. No registration will be required. That's right, everyone ages 5 and up will be able to worship in person at Alfred Street Baptist Church in our sanctuary starting Sunday, August 7th, with service commencing at 10 a.m. Eastern Time and doors opening at 9 a.m. Everyone must enter the building via the main doors on the portico facing the Alfred Street side of the street. But most importantly, everyone must be vaccinated in order to enter the building to worship. Upon arrival, you will be required to present your physical vaccination card and/or a copy of your vaccination card on your mobile device to our staff prior to entering the building. No exceptions. All additional Alfred Street COVID protocols will be in place, including temperature checks and the utilization of our hand sanitizer stations. Please note, and this is very important, if you have submitted or uploaded your vaccination card previously to our 42 chat or SPLAN system, you will be required to present your vaccination card in person in order to enter the sanctuary. Attendance will be limited to 500 people. There will only be one Alfred Street Baptist Church in-person worship service every weekend on Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, with doors opening at 9 a.m. Be sure to visit our website and/or ASBC app for additional details or information regarding our in-person worship experience.
Family, I am unashamedly proud to share with you our book of the month, Game, by a personal friend of mine, Grant Hill. You know the name Grant Hill. It's synonymous with basketball excellence, being highly recruited right here out of Virginia, Duke University, 3 championship appearances, the NBA, the Hall of Fame, NBA ownership. He now announces games for the Final Four. He's married to Tamia, but behind all that success, there's also some personal pain and struggle. Game is more than just an autobiographical journey. It's also a testament of wisdom and faith that I believe will be a blessing to each and every one of us. So do me a favor, go on out and get game and see if you got some game.
Our Office of Christian Care and Counseling would like to share that July is BPOC, Black, Indigenous, People of Color Mental Health Month. The goal of BPOC Mental Health Awareness Month is to raise awareness to the challenges that BPOC populations face with regards to mental health illnesses and treatment. Visit our website, alfredstreet.org, for additional tips and resources about how to maintain your mental health.
Our Alfred Street Foundation, in conjunction with our HBC committee and the Alfred Street Baptist Church, invites all high school sophomores, rising juniors, and rising seniors and their parents and grandparents to save the date of our 2022 HBCU Festival. It's being held on October 7th and 8th.
This year's HBCU Festival will be held at the University of the District of Columbia. That's right, this year we will be on the campus of UDC, located at 4200 Connecticut Avenue Northwest in Washington, D.C. So be sure to visit our website for more information. Families, while our children and youth worship experience will be on our annual summer hiatus, we invite everyone to check out all of the opportunities Alfred Street has to offer for your child and children to stay connected, involved, and growing in God's Word. Our Higher Ground youth are leading the way with a drive to bless their peers in the DMV through the Hustlers Guild. Our teens need your help. If you are a youth and you would like to help lead this effort, or you would like to give, please email higherground@alfredstreet.org.
Hey Alfred Street family and friends, are you interested in purchasing any of our current or previous Alfred Street swag, t-shirts, and masks? If so, please visit our website to purchase yours today. Hey Alfred Street, Versus is back in stock. Our Versus team has been working around the clock to create another batch of our popular Versus Bible-based trivia card game, and they're now available for purchase. That's right, purchase your set of Versus cards today before we sell out again. Visit our website or ASBC app and be the first to get your hands on Versus, a Bible-based trivia game by Alfred Street Baptist Church.
Hey Alfred Street family and friends, are you visiting us for the very first time? Or perhaps you're new to Alfred Street and you want to stay connected to us or receive the latest Alfred Street updates via text? If so, all visitors, text the word visitors with an S to our new direct text number, 571-977-4525. That's 571-977-4525. Or if you're not a new visitor, but you want to receive the latest Alfred Street updates via text, please text the words ASBC News. That's ASBC News, no space between ASBC and News, to that same direct number, 571-977-4525. Again, text ASBC News to 571-977-4525, and you'll receive the latest Alfred Street updates about upcoming events and activities. Please note that data rates may apply, so please check with your phone carriers. We thank you in advance for worshiping with us virtually.
Hey, Alfred Street. Speaking of new things, our intercessory prayer ministry is introducing an ASBC prayer wall for 2022. It's praying time, so this ASBC prayer wall will be accessible 24 hours a day online. Visit our website and/or ASBC app for more info. You can also email prayer@alfredstreet.org for additional information.
We invite everyone to continue to join your Alfred Street ministers and family Monday through Friday for our popular 7 a.m. Eastern Time prayer call. Join us in prayer and praise Monday through Friday only by dialing 425-436-6277, access code 246114 #. Again, that's 425-436-6277, access code 246114 #. Our new prayer line number will accommodate up to 2,000 participants. However, once we reach capacity, we will continue to offer the playback option. Call our playback number anytime after 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time each day, Monday through Friday, and you'll be able to replay the prayer call that you missed. To reach the playback line, please dial 425-436-6278 and enter the access code 246114 #. Please note that this is not a toll-free number, and therefore, depending on your phone carrier, rates may apply.
Alfred Street's men's ministry invites all men to join us virtually for weekly Men's Sunday School. Email men@alfredstreet.org to receive the Zoom virtual classroom information. Also, we invite you to tune in to our Faith Forward weekly radio broadcast featuring Pastor Howard John Wesley every Sunday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Magic 102.3 FM and 92.7 FM for a powerful sermon that will move you forward in your faith.
For more information on these and all the exciting events taking place here at Alfred Street, please log on to alfredstreet.org.